Hey, it's Amy Chesery, author and illustrator of The Coloring Book of Shadows. And this is a video I colored live on Facebook. So it is raw and unscripted, but hopefully it gives you some inspiration and ideas on how to color your own magical stuff. So thanks for watching. Extra fun. So if you just joined, here's some of the things I did recently as I go back to it. But this is basically what it is that I'm going to show you, just like a simple, just a couple of colors. I only used pink and then I used a dark gray to kind of give it a little bit more shading. And I kept it like smooth. You know, you could add more texture to your rose quartz or whatever stones you're drawing by like adding lines or more variation in color. You can really take that as far as you want, which is fun. And they can look natural or they don't have to. So always keep that in mind. You don't have to, even if I wrote a word next to it in the book, you don't have to do that. You don't have to make it what it says. I might even divert from it here in one of the examples. Okay, so for this I used a light peach for this very light stuff. And then the darkest color I used of these Prismacolors is just called pink. And then I used a blush pink in the middle. And I can't exactly remember which gray I used for this example, but I'm going to use the 50% warm gray for when I show you today. Cool. So for when I did the example of this one, the light source was coming from the other direction, so it was like shining that way. So the light, you would think it was on your upper left, and then the shadow is on the lower right. So just, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just kind of walk myself through what that is before I do it, and as I'm coloring it, just so I know, so I can try to keep it consistent, even if it's not perfect. That's cool too. So it's good to keep your pencils sharp. As I said earlier, it makes coloring more fun. If you have dull pencils that are like not working very well, it's hard. So sometimes these flatter facets of the crystals, I go for the highlight there first because it's easy. Like if the light's shining right on it, it's going to be bright. So when I see rose quartz, I kind of see the edges is more, and there's, you know, so many very different variations. Hello, Trina. How are you? Thank you for joining today's coloring. It's really fun when you guys say hi and are watching. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I try to go for the highlight. Like for me on the rose quartz, it's like, or in this example that I did, the highlight is more on the edges. Because when you look at the edges, sometimes I guess more light comes through, and then the middle seemed darker to me. So that's how I did this. And I'm starting again with my highlights. Oh, thank you, Trina. That's so nice. I'm glad you love the books. I'm working, if you just joined, I was just saying I didn't give really details on what new books I'm working on, but I am working on some new stuff, and it's really exciting because it's in like a pretty new stage. So that's always fun. Sometimes it's daunting, like I look at my old books and I don't know how I will come up with new ones. But you know what? You put the work in and the muse surprises me. So I think she will surprise you too if you go there. So it's super fun. Yeah, so now I'm putting in like we'll see my light's coming from up here. So this would be, that's underneath, right? So that would be shaded more. So I'm not going to do the highlight there. So I'm just kind of doing the light parts. And then I think a little light's going to be shining over the top of this, but not much. Like that. Cool. And then I'm doing the middle pink. This is called blush pink. And then I'm doing like around the highlights. I'm trying to keep the edges bright. And then some of the highlighted facets. That's my plan. It's gonna look cool and pink. So I'm kind of like putting an edge around the lightest parts I did with the middle color, and then I'll, like I did on the first one, I'll go back and do the darkest color. So like I kind of go back and forth. So that would not be highlighted, that would be darker. These underneath parts would at least be middle pink, if not the darkest pink. So I'll go in and do those a little darker. Cool. Does that look good? I think it looks pretty good. Okay. Keep going with it. I think it will be time to add some of it. Well, actually, not quite. Let me do this like a middle pink. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now I'll get the darker one. Okay, no, I won't. I'm gonna do this with the middle pink. I keep it pretty loose, like you've noticed already if you've been watching for more than a couple minutes. But now I will get the darkest pencil. And so if my light source is coming, like the sun is shining from that direction, or whatever it is, the sun or my own personal light is shining from that direction. So the right, bottom right is going to be the darkest. So now I have my darkest pencil. And then I didn't quite have the right pink in my set of Prismacolors. I have the 72 pencil set, which I like. It's plenty. But I mixed in a little gray with this darkest pink because Rose Quartz is like, kind of has that earthier pink that's not pink, you know? So this pencil's even a little bright for it. So I mixed in some gray, like, to almost to neutralize it a little bit. Which sounds fancier than it really was. It's just putting colors on top of each other. Okay. Oh, they're just about to go into the chocolate factory. How exciting. I know a lot of people don't like the newer version, but I do. Of course, the original is better. I don't think anyone on the planet thinks the new one is better. But I still like the new one. I'll watch it. Some of it really makes me laugh. Johnny Depp is so ridiculous in it. Okay, so that actually looks pretty cool, especially these lower two. So this is going to be shaded because the other one is on top of it. Maybe I'll add now some of the gray. So like this, since this was real shadowy, a little bit of the gray over the pink, instead of just dark pink, a little bit of the gray kind of adds to that earthy muted look of it. So on this, the darkest shadowy spots, I'm just going to go back. I don't think this is the exact, I think I used the lighter gray last time, but that's okay. This will be its own unique piece. So this would be a shadowy because it's underneath. So I'll just add a little bit of gray. So you can see just like how a touch of gray really does a lot. So don't be afraid to like try things. I know it can, sometimes it's silly, but it feels like why am I scared of colored pencils? But like when I was coloring that crazy February thing, which one? This one. This. It's like, oh my God, what am I doing with these colors? But I think that's the fun of it. So, like, you surprise yourself. I surprise myself. Because usually it turns out, like, better than you thought, or you learn something about mixing colors, which is fun too. So just try it. Add some gray. See, that's like a little weird, but I'm just going to add more pink on top of it and I'll fix it. That's not too bad, actually. Try to go all the same direction, even it out. And you can add your own, like I said earlier, by going super dark, you can add like your own shapes and facets and shadows to them. There's a lot you can do on top of what I have done in the book. Yeah, add your own stuff. That's always cool. Okay, so I'm trying to keep the edges, even if this is a darker part, I'm trying to keep the edges like a little bit lighter. Just kind of hard. That looks nice though. I'm digging it. So I'm switching to the middle pink for this. There's light spilling over the edge on the top. In my mind, anyway. Try to translate that to the paper. Try to leave that edge. I keep coloring it in. Cool. That looks pretty cool. Oh, this needs to be dark. Cool. Did I miss any spots? This one. That, I think, would be a highlight, and this is a little darker, maybe. Like that. Okay, and then the gray, like some of the darker, deeper shadows of this. It's supposed to go like in circles, but sometimes it adds to the texture if you of the crystal or whatever you're working on if you just go in one direction, so that's fun too. But not in this case. It might just look a little streaky. That's cool. I'm trying to differentiate between these two. If you see what I mean there, because that's better. Without it looking like a big old line. Try to make them look like two separate shaded crystals. So there would be a shadow here, I think. Usually where objects like touch or intersect, there's a bit of a shadow. Well, I think that looks nice. Cool. So that is pretty much how I did the rose quartz. I think it's a cool look.